Welcome back to This Week in Agribusiness. Over the past year, the past calendar year, the past 12 months have seen a lot of challenges, a lot of highs and lows for people in agriculture, from the COVID lockdowns back in March to the grain rally at the end of the year. It's kind of been whiplash emotionally for a lot of folks. Max, it's been a struggle.
There have been a lot of peaks and troughs, and for some, it's kind of an emotional trough right now. I noticed this in some of the ag Twitter chatter the other day, that some folks are a little bit low. Seasonal, maybe that's part of it. I wanted to visit with an agriculture wellness advocate about that. And Adrienne Desutter is also on the farm in Illinois. You have a front row seat for watching this. And I guess maybe we naturally, this time of the year when there's so much cold weather and we're inside, we're in a pandemic, maybe folks are a little bit low, but I'm picking up on this. What's going on?
Yeah, well, thanks for having me, Max. And I think this conversation about mental health in agriculture is just really critical because we, like you said, we are an industry where we have highs and lows, and that doesn't go away. It doesn't matter what year it is. So it's always a conversation we need to have. Winter months are especially tough because we don't see a lot of sun. We're cooped up right now. So, we're isolated families anyway on the farm. But this whole COVID thing has really posed a challenge because those meetings and those in-person events aren't there, so we don't have any break from this kind of monotony that we've got going on at home right now.
I think many in agriculture would say, buck it up, pal. It's a tough business. You're a tough character. There are those who would say that. But what can we do to be a little more sympathetic, empathetic, I should say, and to maybe be a part of the solution here and help someone through a difficult time?
Absolutely. Well, that's just it. Everyone deals with stress differently. And just because you manage your stress in a different way doesn't mean that you can or can't be a farmer. It just means you have to know how to manage it in the way that works for you. So I think one thing in agriculture that we do a decent job of is patting each other on the back, stepping up when we need to. When you've got a farmer who can't get a crop out or has an injury or has a tragedy or something, we're pretty good at rallying the troops and getting things done. And we need to do that for agricultural mental health as well. We need to make sure that we're being vigilant, kind of keeping an eye out for each other, watching for changes in people's behaviors and in people's moods, and then not waiting for those people to ask for help. It's more important for us to step out of our comfort zone and talk to those people and reach out to those people. And it doesn't have to be in a sympathetic way per se, but just saying, hey, what's going on? These are the things that I'm noticing, and I'm here. I'm ready to listen. And people aren't always ready to talk right away. So I think it's really important to be persistent, not naggy, but persistent with our kind of touching base with people.
Touching base, I'm here. And that hit a chord with me. I realized back, maybe, I guess it was during the holiday period, that I had withdrawn some. I wasn't maintaining the kind of contact with folks that I routinely did. I wasn't picking up the phone as much, certainly wasn't going to visit people. Maybe we need to make, and I did, maybe we need to make a concerted effort to call folks a little bit more, especially if we sense that they're going through a rough patch.
Absolutely. I mean, making contact is so important. And again, we're isolated individuals. Some of us are introverts. We like to be at home. That's kind of part of the characteristic of a farmer in some sense. But again, when we don't have any break from that, we don't always realize how much we need each other and we need social interaction. Even just a little bit of it is a really important thing. So we've got to make sure that we get uncomfortable a little bit and step out of our box and ask those questions. Because when I first started advocating, I will never forget a friend of mine who had lost her, I think, father-in-law to suicide. He was a farmer. She said, I understand that these conversations are uncomfortable. I get that. But think of how uncomfortable our life is right now. We're missing someone, and it's a very uncomfortable life. And so if you can get yourself uncomfortable for just a few minutes to have those conversations, to do those check-ins, it really could make a difference in someone's life, in someone's day, in someone's family.
Well, Adrienne, give us a little bit of a guideline then for getting uncomfortable. So many of us in agriculture, we don't want to feel uncomfortable. I don't want to intrude on what you've got going on at home, so I'm not going to pry. Give us a script. How can we initiate that conversation? How can we get uncomfortable to unearth these sort of things?
Absolutely. And the tricky part is that people are all different, and people do want to communicate in different ways. We have to respect that. As a general guideline, though, we have to do more listening than talking. The script is not as important as saying, talk about what you're noticing that's different. Hey, I didn't see you show up for church. Hey, I haven't talked to you in so long. Usually we check base every couple weeks, or we see each other a little bit more often, and that isn't happening as much. How's it going? How are things? It doesn't always have to be an icky question or something's wrong type of conversation. It's just that touch base and that opening the door to conversation and then closing your mouth and opening your ears, right? We don't have to have the answers. You don't have to be a therapist. You don't have to be a doctor. But when someone's ready to talk, you need to be willing to listen. Not listen to respond, not listen to have all the answers, but listen to just hear what they're saying, show that empathy, show no judgment. This isn't something where you're hearing it and you're saying, well, I agree or disagree. This is something where you're saying, I hear what you're saying. I may not be walking in your shoes, but I can see that it's impacting you. I see that it's a struggle for you. And I just want to let you know I'm here and I'm going to help you through this. Let's talk about what we can do together.
Adrienne, we sure appreciate it. Thanks for taking some time to join us here this weekend to visit about something very important in the rural community and how maybe we can be a part of that solution to help a friend when they really need us. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Adrienne Desutter on the farm in Illinois, who also has some expertise about relationships. There's more coming up on This Week in Agribusiness.